Alright guys, so in this video we will be fetching data from database and we'll be displaying that data that we have fetched from database table on screen using PHP query PHP code. This will be very interesting. If you are a beginner, this will be very beneficial for you. So before jumping into VS Code, let me show you that we'll be using this database, employee database. Within this employee database, I have a record by the name of employees table. Okay. Now within this table, I have 4 rows, means 4 records. But first let me show you the column. We have serial number, name, rule and data. It means that within this table, within this employees table, we have 4 columns in which we have 4 records, means 4 rows. So I'll be fetching this records. Okay. Now how to fetch record? We have learned in the previous videos how to create table, how to create database, how to insert record into table. Now in this video, we'll be learning how to fetch record from database. So before jumping into VS Code, let me show you this playlist. This is PHP tutorials playlist. How to start PHP. I have started this course from the beginning. So if you haven't accessed this playlist, just access it. I have provided the playlist link in the below description, and if you have not subscribe my channel Coding World, then subscribe it. Now let's jump into VS. So here these things we have already learned, that how to connect to the database. We have used server name, username, password, everything. After that I have used here database and I have passed the name of my database, that is employee database. So after that I have used here a connection variable in which I have created my connection. So we have learned already this. After that I have just checked if there is no connection, then run this statement, means connection failed. But if connection is successfully occurred, then run this one and it will be connected successfully to database. It should be successfully. So let me remove this too. Now it's time to fetch record from the table. So what I will do the same thing. First let me create here a variable by the name of SQL. After that, within single quote, within double quote or single quote, I'll be using here a select keyword that will help me to select record from table. After that I'll be using from keyword, and after that within double stick I'll be using the table name of my database. So my database has a table by the name of employees table. Okay. After that I will use semicolon. But within this data, this table, within this employees table, maybe there are millions of trillions rows, columns that all select all columns record. Okay. After that we have to run a query. So let me create here another variable by the name of result, in which I'll be running my SQLI underscore query. And this should be query, so don't do spelling mistake. And it takes 2 parameters. First will be connection, second one will be our query, that is SQL. So SQL. Now what we have done, we have just target our table, employees table, and these 2 keywords will take record from there and it will be stored within this SQL. Now we have run this SQL as well as connection, and we have stored this within this result using MySQLI query function. So after that, what I will do first, before printing the result, before printing the records, I need to find out total number of rows within my table, because I don't know, maybe our table has millions of trillion rows. So there I'll be using another variable. It should be num, I think, and here I'll be using function again, MySQLI underscore num. I will explain it. Num rows. Okay, and it will check the query. So queries has stored within this result variable. What I've done, first the result variable in which we have stored this query, this function do nothing, just return number of rows, total number of rows. If I have 100 rows in my table, it will print 100. and I have stored within this num. So if I print this, okay, it's work. Now echo, and let me write here found. Okay, not found. Let me write here, okay, found rows number. Again, it doesn't work, so let me write here just number, or and just concatenate and print the number. Okay, so control S, go to your browser, and on new tab just type localhost php tutes, and there will be your file. As you can see, I have already created tut10 fetch.php. It says syntax error, unexpected variable num on line 20. Let's see what is the error on line 20, because we have missed here a statement, a semicolon statement. That's why it show the error right here. So go again, control S, so that it could save. Go to your browser and just reload. As you can see here, found rows number or 4, because in our table we have 4 rows, 1 2 3 4. Now it's time, first let me show you display rows returned by the SQL. Now I want to display the entire records, such as Noor, programmer, Mehru, designer, John, developer, Kaushif, assistant. Now I want to display all this. So here, before displaying, we have to check if the num variable is greater than 0. Now what does it mean? Let me show you. Because we have stored the total count of our rows within this num. Now I am going to, before printing the record, I am telling to the compiler that if the num count is greater than 0, means there are 1 2 3 up to millions of trillions rows. It means true, its condition true, then you have to display the record. So how to display, not display, fetch the record, and we'll be displaying it. So to fetch record, first let me create again here a variable by the name of row, and to fetch record we use again built-in function in PHP. So MySQLI underscore fetch, this time it worked perfect. Associate, it's mean associate. After that pass the result, because we have stored our query within result. What it will do, this fetch MySQLI fetch associate function has two functions. First one, it will fetch, it will select, it will grab record from this query. I means our query that we have stored within this result, but one by one. Okay. The second function, it will print it in array form, in associative array form. So if I print here echo, after that just row, what will happen? Control S. But again here let me use a br text, so that we print the next line a new line. So control S, go to your browser and just reload it, and there again array to string conversion on line 27. Okay, let me check. So here we have to use var dump, otherwise it will throw you an error, because it has string type array. So var dump will cover our error, and control S, go to your browser and just reload it. As you can see, serial number, string type 1, and the name of the column, again Noor, and rule, programmer, everything, as you can see here. So it has returned us associative array. And what I will do again, I will fetch the second record. So first I will print here br tag, control S, and let me control C, so that I can print the second one. Control S, go to your browser and just reload, and it has returned the second, that was name. What was the name? Mehru. This one Mehru, designer, everything. But what will happen if in my table there are suppose 3000 or millions of trillion rows? I will not be able to copy paste each time, write this code. This is not a good practice. So what I will do, I will simply remove all the stuff from here. I'll be using, because as a programmer we have something great, that is loop. So I'll be using while loop, and within this while loop I will be using another helping variable, row, and I will be assigning. Now here point to be noted. I'm not going to use to check something. I am assigning something to this row within this loop. So I'll be say MySQLI not query fetch function associate, and it will check the result query. What will happen here? I am going, if it will fetch first record, okay, it will fetch first record and it will be assigned to this row. If it is true, until it returns null, it will fetch first and it will print whatever I have written here, it will be printed. It will again iterate these other record and it will be printed, and it will be running until then it will return null one. So I will print here my record. Now it's time to print a record. So echo, I will be using $row. Let me give it sorting, and first one within single quote we have serial number. After that concatenate, let me print a message hello, concatenate again $, but before this let me print a space. Again concatenate, we have another column by the name of what was the second column, we have name, and again concatenate and space concatenate, and again we have $. After name we have, I think, rule. Let me show you. Within this table we have serial number, name, rule, data. This should be date. By mistake I have typed that day data, so we'll be covered. Now after there should be row, and within single quote there should be rule. Again concatenate, space concatenate, and finally we have $row, and there should be final data, okay, and just semicolon and print echo statement, so that we can print the other next record on new line. So within double quote right here be your tag. Now what will happen, let me explain everything, then we will print. So first we have just select our table, and we have select the query from our table, and we have run that table, and we have stored within result. After that we have find out the total number of our rows using something like built-in function, that is MySQLI num rows. After that we have printed that one. After that we have checked if this number that has stored total number of rows is greater than 0, means there are 1, 2, 3, 4 up to so on. Then run a loop so that it can fetch all the records one by one. So first this built-in function, that is MySQLI fetch associate, will grab the record and it will assign to this row, and after that I have printed this one right here. So Control S, go to your browser and just reload. So as you can see here we have this 4 records, and we have printed successfully, and we have fetched and grabbed from this table. So I hope that you have learned something new here, and you have learned that how to grab or fetch record from database. So if you haven't accessed this playlist, access it, and if you have not subscribed Coding World, and subscribe it. So see you in the next video.